The dust was a living thing in Redemption Gulch. It coated the tongue, painted the sky a perpetual, weary ochre, and clung to every clapboard wall and broken dream in the Arizona territory. Emma Vance, 28, ran the last stop, the only general store, which she maintained as a fortress. Her hands were scarred by work, but her manner spoke of a prior life. She had fled Philadelphia after her father's financial ruin, and gambling debts taught her a brutal lesson. Independence was the only shield against heartbreak. Her heart was walled up by the conviction that any man who rode in would eventually ride out, or worse, burn everything down first. It was into this guarded space that Silas Kincaid rode one blistering July afternoon. He was all dark shadow and bone, a man sculpted by long days and nights, his duster the color of the grave, and his twin Colts extensions of his grim will. He didn't swagger, he simply was. He ordered supplies, his voice a low, gravelly monotone. "You're new here," Emma observed, charging him a fair price. "Passing through," Silas replied, avoiding her gaze, the universal lie of the West. "The road stops here, Mr. Kincaid." "There's nothing past Redemption Gulch but rock and regret," Emma countered. He finally lifted his head. His eyes were the startling, clear blue of glacial ice, meeting hers with a fleeting look of profound, shared loneliness. Emma saw in him a man defined by past trouble. "Then I've found the right place for both," he murmured, and paid her, leaving a chilling stillness in his wake. The unspoken partnership. Silas did not pass through. He settled near the livery, taking on odd jobs. His reputation for cold nerve and quick action established a perimeter of fear that paradoxically brought peace to the settlement. He was a lightning rod, drawing trouble away from the populace. The primary menace, however, remained Sheriff Harlan Reed, a corrupt lawman, obsessed with owning Emma's land and her hand. His harassment was persistent, escalating from veiled threats to outright intimidation. One sweltering evening, Reed and his deputies entered the store, overturning barrels and cornering Emma by the dry goods shelf. "A woman needs a man to manage her affairs. A strong man, like me." Before Emma could retaliate, Silas Kincaid appeared in the doorway, framed against the molten sunset, a statue of judgment. "Heard a noise," Silas said, his voice flat. Sounded like unnecessary breakage. Red, paralyzed by Silas's reputation, quickly retreated. Silas stepped inside, sweeping the spilled flour. "I didn't do it for you," he lied easily. "I don't like messes." The lie was weak. Over the following weeks, Silas became Emma's silent anchor. He mended her porch steps and fixed the store's foundation free of charge. Emma, in turn, breached her own rules of self-sufficiency by leaving him small bundles of fresh-baked sourdough or chili. Their interactions were transactional, yet the unspoken thread of necessity and mutual recognition grew stronger than any rope. They were two people capable of seeing the loneliness behind the other's armor. The weight of the past. One evening, while Silas was oiling his saddle, Emma challenged him. "Why the Shadow nickname, Silas? What darkness do you hide?" Silas looked up, the raw grief in his glacial blue eyes staggering. "The darkness isn't what you hide, Emma. It's what you carry. I left a town in ashes once. A careless fire I started destroyed a ranch and took the life of an old ranch hand. I carried the smoke. His wandering was his penance. He feared putting down roots, convinced anything he touched would burn. I have to ride on before I accidentally ruin this peace you've fought so hard to build." Emma confessed her own vulnerability. She was running from a father ruined by men who dealt in false promises. "My father didn't burn a building, Silas. He just let the paper burn us. I was running from the lie that love could save you from financial ruin." She leaned closer. "You're the safest thing to happen to this town, because you know the price of carelessness. You are the only honest man in Redemption Gulch." This mutual understanding, defined by the catastrophic consequences of their pasts, offered validation. They were two broken halves, recognizing their reflection in the other's solitude. "I can't afford to love someone who leaves, Emma," she admitted one rain-soaked evening. "I can't afford to stay, Emma," he countered gently, closing his hands over hers. "It costs too much to burn you, too." But the fire had already been lit a slow, deep burn of connection that transcended their fear. The final stand and investment. Sheriff Reed's patience finally broke, his frustration manifesting in escalating harassment. The next morning, he marched into the last stop and tossed a brittle deed onto the counter. "The town council is seizing your store, Emma. You've got until morning to clear out. Kincaid, you can ride out now, or watch her lose everything. Emma met his eyes with cold fury. This deed is forged, Reed. You try to take it, and you'll have a fight on your hands. Reed laughed, pointing at Silas. Your silent shadow. He won't fight for a broken-down store, Miss Vance. He fights for himself. Silas slowly rose, adjusting his hat. He's wrong, Emma. He walked toward the door. I don't fight for myself. Not anymore. I can't let another good thing burn because I rode away. The climax came at dawn. Reed and his men came heavily armed, but Silas Kincaid was waiting on the porch roof. The confrontation was swift and strategically masterful. Silas's rifle fire was precise and non-lethal, shooting the weapons from the deputy's hands and taking the heel off Reed's boot, a show of superior control that dismantled Reed's authority. The power structure broken, Reed was run out of the gulch. Silas climbed down to meet Emma, who rushed out to check his hands. I made a choice, Emma, he said, his blue eyes clear. I chose this place. I chose you. The shadow rode out this morning, and Silas Kincaid is staying put. He was stating his new, hard-fought reality. In the ensuing days, the town, finally free, rallied around them. Silas opened a small blacksmith shop, the ringing of his hammer becoming the steady heartbeat of the community. His shadow nickname now signified the quiet presence that protected their light. They waited until the spring bloomed to marry, exchanging vows not of forever, but of today, a commitment to the hard-won reality of the frontier. On their first anniversary, Emma leaned against him, watching the endless desert sky. Are you still carrying the smoke, Silas? He pulled her close. I carry the scent of flour and iron now, Emma, he said. The only smoke I worry about is what's rising from our chimney. And I'm right here to make sure it keeps rising. In Redemption Gulch, they had found a love that was the most priceless investment of all, a commitment to stand still in a world that forever told them to run. The frontier hadn't broken them. It had tempered them into something enduring, something real. Make sure to like and subscribe for more adventures of Emma.